Thanks very much for tuning into Unmissable. I'm Nabila Jamal. But before I get into our news hour today, I'm going to give you a little snippet into Tata Motors as a brand, how it's evolved. To move forward, what we really need is new thinking, strong intent, and the determination to win. Just like Tata Motors commercial vehicles, which for years has stood firmly with India's growth story at every turn, from carrying heavy loads to safely taking people to their destinations, from powering industries to helping dreams take flight. This journey has not just been about different vehicles, but also about trust and responsibility. Today, as our country moves forward, a new era of mobility, which is greener, safer, smarter. Solutions provided by Tata Motors commercial vehicles. It's now moving ahead with now a renewed mantra of success, the brand itself. The new mantra is better always, a promise renewed, a commitment to take customer success to new heights through better products, better services, and better digital solutions. Better always is not just a brand statement, it is a promise to move forward with India's success. Watch this new ad by Tata Motors commercial vehicles.
पापा, इसमें क्या है?
इसमें देश है बेटा।
कितनी सड़कें, कितने पुल, कितनी बांध, कितनी नदियां, कितनी सदियां, कितना आसमान अपनी गोद में लेके जा रही है ये। कितनी रोटियां, कितने खेत, भरे हुए कितने पेट, देखो कितना बड़ा अपना देश अपनी गोद में लेके जा रही है ये। ये जो अपनी गाड़ी है, इस पे भारत आगे बढ़ता है। हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, देश आगे बढ़ेगा। Tata Motors commercial vehicles, better always.
All right, let's begin with Unmissable today. We're going to take you through news from India and across the globe. Our top stories tonight on 800 people who are missing in Delhi. Of course, we thought the numbers were exaggerated initially, but the police have now confirmed, leaving us shocked and stunned. And this, remember, mirrors a trend that's been on for nearly 10 years. In total, 2.5 lakh people have been missing from the national capital. Barely 50,000 have been traced. I'm going to take you through those details with our panelists on that. And also on our top story tonight is Naseeruddin Shah, actor par excellence, has been disinvited to an Urdu event at the Mumbai University. And the reason he suspects is his political thoughts and his political words. He says, because I do not sing praises of the Vishwaguru or the current regime, I could be termed as anti-national, which is why I have been disinvited. We're going to take you through that story. And also on our top story tonight is T20 World Cup. India ready to play, but Pakistan decides to boycott. We will take you through those details. As always, the headlines first. India pushes back on US claims over Russian oil, says energy security comes first. MEA stresses priority is meeting fuel needs of 1.4 billion people. All decisions guided by this goal. India-US trade agreement likely to be signed as early as next week. Senior US officials expected in Delhi. Government sources say agriculture, dairy and fisheries fully protected. No concessions offered in sensitive sectors. The Lok Sabha passes motion of thanks on President's address without Prime Minister Modi's reply amid protest by the opposition. Opposition's amendments rejected. The House was adjourned until 2 p.m. amid all that sloganeering. Prashant Kishore's Jan Swaraj party moves the Supreme Court against Bihar Assembly polls, seeks fresh elections. Case likely before the Chief Justice of India, Surya Kant, and his bench as the NDA retains power with 202 seats. India bloc limited to 35. Prashant Kishore says, raising doubts, wanting a re-election now. SIT investigates investor pressure, IT scrutiny and business losses in Confident Group chairperson's suicide, CJ Roy. Sources say politicians and private investors sought a return of 250 to 280 crores, pushing Roy under severe stress. BJP MP Tejasvi Surya from Karnataka meets Union Minister Housing and Urban Affairs Manohar Lal Khattar to halt metro fee hike that's been announced by the Karnataka state. He criticizes the Karnataka government for imposing financial burden on commuters despite public disapproval. Tamil Nadu Minister MRK Pannirselvam refers to North Indians as Pani Puri sellers and table cleaners and construction workers, triggering BJP backlash. BJP has demanded an apology, accusing the DMK of inciting hatred against migrant communities. All right, let's take you through our top story in a very disturbing picture that's coming to light. News that really has upset us, very disturbing to say the least. Police data shows that over 800 people have gone missing in Delhi in just the first 15 days of 2026. Between January 1st and January 15th, a total of 807 people reported missing. Nearly two-thirds of them, that's 509, are women and girls. The figures show that dozens go missing literally every day, roughly about 54 people who go missing every single day. Imagine, and largely women. Now, among those who are missing, 191 are minors. Minors, teenagers, adolescents, and of that, 138 are girls. Only 48 are minors, 29 are girls, 19 are boys. They've all been traced, leaving around 70 of them still untraceable. When I first heard this number, I honestly thought it had to be exaggerated, but it isn't. Delhi police has confirmed that 107 people have gone missing in just the first 15 days of 2026. Really let that sink in. More than 800 people in just 2 weeks from the national capital. What's really disturbing here is out of the 107 missing people, 509 are women and girls. That's nearly two-thirds. This means every single day, on an average, 54 people are reported missing from Delhi. Now, breaking that number up for you, among the total missing are 191 children, minors. Of them, 146 are girls and 45 are boys. Adults make up the biggest group here. 616 adults went missing in the first half of January, of which 363 are women and 253 are men. Cops say that they are on the job, but around 70% are still missing. Of the 807, only 235 individuals have been traced back so far. Imagine as many as 572 people still remain unaccounted for. What's really staggering is these 807 cases has been reported in just the first 15 days of this year, just half a month. Official records show that in Delhi, on an average, nearly 2,000 people go missing every single month. The latest figures mirrors a long trend. For nearly 10 years, similar trend has been on in the national capital. In 2025 alone, Delhi has recorded over 24,000 missing persons cases, with women accounting for more than 60% of that total. A decade-long analysis shows that nearly 2.3 lakh people have gone missing in the last 10 years in Delhi, with 52,000 cases still unresolved. Operations like Operation Milap and AI-based tools have managed to help to some extent, but not really a lot. Success is not as much as we would expect from the police. Experts say there are many reasons. There's a huge migration to the city, so something like this can happen. Financial stress of many people, exploitation and trafficking, lack of awareness, overstretched policing. Whatever the reasons, families don't understand any of that. For them, all that matters and all that they know and see is that their loved ones are gone, that they are missing, and they have no contact. So, the uncomfortable truth, we keep calling Delhi the national capital, but with nearly 2,000 people vanishing every month from the national capital, is it really slowly becoming India's missing capital instead? Let me bring in Ellen Rao, former DCP of Delhi, joining us. We also have Advocate Jyotika Kalra, advocate from the Supreme Court, joining us, and also former member, National Human Rights Commission. Thanks very much, both of you, for joining us. Ellen Rao, your take on this. As a former cop, how do you see this? I'm just devastated to see the numbers. In fact, I had my family members sending me these videos and I thought the numbers were exaggerated, but we have police reactions confirming this. It's shocking.
Good evening, Nabila ji. Really, these figures are shocking, and no doubt these have been sent by the police. These data are not exaggerated, and that is only on police record. But really, we have to see that what is the reason. No, as you rightly said, that it is not only this year or this month. It is always on the same trend for the last 10 years. Because you know the population in Delhi is floating population and huge population is there. And if you go analysis these data, you will find that these maximum men or women or girls or boys are found missing from the low strata and the JJ clusters also. That is also analysis by the police. But at the same time, why on these strata also these people go missing? We have to find out the reasons. The reasons is not only that all these people are being kidnapped or by someone, but they might have gone at their own. They might have gone because of some financial crisis. They might have gone for some job, searching for the job, and so many other reasons maybe for this missing of these people. But certainly the police has a duty to trace all these things wherever they have been gone. But the police has two categories of this. I must tell you the two categories of missing persons. That is one is that missing of minor boys and girls. These are definitely, there are instructions from the police that if the missing person is below 13 or 14 years, then definitely a case should have been registered irrespective of whether there is any suspicion or not. But if these minor about 13, 14 years, then the criminal case has to be registered for kidnapping for them. And that investigation is speedily done by the police. And second category is that the children or young persons above the age of 18 years, then in that case that only missing person as missing reports are reported. And in that also, if there is any suspicion about any kidnapping or abduction, then the case is registered, the criminal case is registered for investigation. Now, we must know that there is a standard operating procedure to find out missing persons. That standard operating procedure is adopted by all police stations in Delhi, and there is one centralized agency that is called Missing Persons Squad in crime branch of all Delhi police that caters all the data and documents about the status about the missing persons also. And on the basis of those data, they analyzes the trend also. Which type of age people are missing, and then where are these gone, and then the recovery, whether it has been recovered or not, then it's traced or not. Definitely, this figure is alarming. But if we go for the recovery ratio also, the police is doing their job to recover them also. No doubt in that. But still, there is a need to do some more.
I don't know how much police is doing their job, sir. I'm sorry. I mean, these kind of figures are staggering.
Yeah,
is it because we are not able to handle a population this large? Are we not equipped enough? Don't we have enough tools, technology? Where are we failing?
No, I know that the police is doing their job, but no doubt.
Are we short-staffed? Is the police short-staffed?
No doubt. They want to be more efficient and more tech-savvy to trace these untraced missing persons.
No, but what's shocking, sir, is that we have really advanced when it comes to technology in India. We've moved forward with tech, with our cameras, CCTV cameras all over. We're now so digital friendly. In an age like this, the numbers have remained the same. From 2017, 2016 to 2026, the numbers have remained the same. That many, and there's zero explanation that the police can give as to why this is happening. That's what's even more sad.
Nabila, I just want to know, I want to tell you and to your viewers that the intelligence input about these persons who are involved in kidnapping or abduction of the gangs, who are involved in the human trafficking.
See, that's precisely where I was coming at. You say that there are gangs. Could you give us a little, decode it for us? Tell us a little more. What's happening in Delhi?
We need to increase our intelligence input about those gangs to locate them and to have a very huge pressure on them. And there should be a fear of law in the mind of those gang people, and then only after that
Sir, what kind of gangs are we talking about? Little simplify for us. I know you can't say for certain, I understand that, but just what kind of gangs in your tenure when you were practicing, what gangs are we looking at?
Nabila, let me tell you very clearly that some persons who have been arrested in some previous cases of this human trafficking and kidnapping, and there are certain gangs who are forcing these people to the begging, to the immoral trafficking, all these things, immoral prostitution also, I must say. Those gangs are to be located, to be traced, and if they are found involved in kidnapping of these young people or adolescent people for those purposes, they should be dealt with according to the law of our land. But the only important thing is that we must be equipped with a very sensitive collection of intelligence about those gangs. Only then they can be apprehended, and if they are on record, the police is required to have a continuous pressure on them to get the information about any such thing is happening by them or by any other person which they know about it. They should tell the police about all these things, and if there is some new gang is operating about it, then the police should have a mechanism to find out those persons also who are in a new gang whose record is not there in the police.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So, most important aspect of that policing is that the intelligence network about these gangs is very important to trace and locate them at the earliest.
So I want to get a little understanding on whether this is targeted kidnapping. Is this a whole a nexus, an operation that's been consistent for 10 years in Delhi, where they're very carefully picking and choosing because we're looking at minors, so many minors. And how many women? Nearly 500 odd women out of the 800. So is this a clear targeting of people who are young and adolescents and women particularly?
Nabila, it's not all the people, all the missing persons of adolescent age they are targeting of this kidnapping. There are so many other girls and men also who are going out of their house, missing their houses at their own.
Okay, well, I understand that. Going on their own, not, running away with their, lover, all of that I understand. But I'm asking, is there an organized syndicate? Is there an organized gang?
Yes, that possibility cannot be ruled out, ma'am. That definitely, there may be some organized, and that is the only requirement by the police, that they should identify that organized gang, and they should be heavily the police action on those organized gangs.
Yeah, it's scary to say the least. I was startled to even see the numbers, and I really thought it was exaggerated when I read up a little and I cross-checked, and we find out that this is consistent for 10 years. Every month from Delhi, 2,000 people go missing. So this does not sit well. It's not natural, where how you can say someone ran away with their lover or someone walks away from their home. These are not that kind of cases. We're looking at targeted crimes, and that's what I sense. So, and you also corroborate that. You say you suspect a organized crime network behind these kidnappings in Delhi. I'm going to take you through our viewers also some reactions from the parents of these missing people. Let's hear it.
सर पुलिस को हमने सेम डे फ़ोन किया, रात को बोले कि थाने में सुबह आना, सुबह फ़ोन किया, शाम को बताएंगे बच्चा है आ जाएगा, शाम तक आ जाएगा, पीसीआर पे कॉल किया 112 पे आ जाएगा। जब हमें इनका कोई रेस्पॉन्स नहीं मिला, फिर हम नेक्स्ट डे सीधे खुद अपने आप हरिद्वार, पता लगा कि बच्चा हरिद्वार ट्रेन में देखा गया या ऐसी न्यूज़ मिली, तो हम वहाँ पहुँचे, वहाँ CCTV चेक किया, बच्चा दिखाई दिया, वहाँ से हमने इन्हें फ़ोन किया, मतलब 30 हो गया, फर्स्ट हो गया, सेकेंड हो गया, ये यहाँ से थर्ड को गए 3 दिन तक। फिर थर्ड को जाने के बाद इन्हें चाहते तो वहाँ लोकल होटल्स के कैमरे थे, कुछ कैमरे ऐसे होते हैं जिनको हम नहीं देख सकते, ये चाहते तो उन कैमरों को चेक करते, पकड़ लेते। ये कहते रहे बच्चा आ जाएगा, 1 दिन में आ जाएगा, 2 दिन में आ जाएगा, 3 दिन में। आज बच्चे को 5 महीने हो गया। अब मैं उनसे पूछना चाहता हूँ जो ये कह रहे थे ना उस टाइम पे, बहुत बड़े भाषण दे रहे थे कि बच्चा 2 दिन में आ जाएगा, कहाँ है दरोगा जी वो? आप
दिल्ली में लापता व्यक्तियों, विशेषकर बच्चों के संबंध में किसी भी प्रकार की घबराहट या भय का कोई कारण नहीं है। पूर्व की तुलना में दिल्ली में लापता व्यक्तियों की रिपोर्टिंग में कोई वृद्धि नहीं हुई है, बल्कि जनवरी 2026 के माह में पिछले वर्षों की समान अवधि की तुलना में लापता व्यक्तियों की रिपोर्टिंग के मामलों में कमी दर्ज की गई है। ये भी उल्लेखनीय है कि दिल्ली पुलिस में अपराधों कि निष्पक्ष एवं पारदर्शी रिपोर्टिंग की नीति अपनाई जाती है। लापता व्यक्तियों की रिपोर्ट न केवल स्थानीय पुलिस थाने में दर्ज कराई जा सकती है, बल्कि ऑनलाइन माध्यम से अथवा ERSS 112 के माध्यम से भी दर्ज कराई जा सकती है। हमारे निर्धारित SOP के द्वारा दिल्ली पुलिस इन सभी मामलों में लापता व्यक्तियों का तुरंत से तुरंत पता लगाने का प्रयास करती है, जिसमें लापता बच्चों के मामले को विशेष प्राथमिकता दी जाती है। इस संबंध में सभी जिलों में डेडिकेटेड मिसिंग पर्सन स्क्वाड्स एवं क्राइम ब्रांच में एंटी ह्यूमन ट्रैफिकिंग यूनिट कार्यरत है, ताकि इस विषय में केंद्रित एवं प्रभावी कार्रवाई सुनिश्चित की जा सके।
All right, we've heard one of the parents there. I'm going to try and get you more reactions. The police saying that there's nothing alarming here in compared to last year's data. It's not like this year it's increased. I don't know, that's still not consoling. Ashina Savarkar, who's a social activist, to give us a little more. Ashina, are you convinced with what the police has to say?
Not at all, not really, because if we see the numbers, which are very, very alarming, imagine like 50 disappearances per day from the national capital.
54,
and really,
yeah.
Really, this is completely heartbreaking. Now imagine a child going to the school, a female worker going to the office place, a mother going to buy the grocery and never coming back to the home. Now imagine the agony, the pain, they must be suffering. And I don't know why the government is again still on the petty issues of the politics of the government, but this is the most alarming situation the government needs to tackle on. Like everyone, and the data says that almost 200 children are missing out of them, and most of these are women and girls. So I don't know who is accountable, because it should be government always, instead of putting their efforts on the dog situation, which is currently happening in Delhi, the national capital. They should actually start working on this data. They should align some special task force for this, because there is no task force. I don't know why we are hearing such just commitments or statements from the police. But there should be real-time tracking. It should be open to public, that they should know what is happening. Where is this human trafficking going on? Because it's just not this. It has been there since years. This is the practice which is there, and this is rapidly increasing in our country, which actually needs an urgent action and the coordinated task force and the specialized units. Because now if they don't work on it, this might actually jump to 100 disappearances per day. It can be 200 disappearances per day, and these are the recorded ones. I don't know. Like
the gangs, whatever these organized gangs, must be so emboldened with these numbers. Absolutely. Now they're like, anyway, every other person is missing in Delhi. There's nothing surprising. Yeah. The shock value itself is gone.
This is actually a very staggering number. Like two-thirds of them are women and children. We never know, are they going for the organ things, are they going for the human trafficking, they are being sent to some other countries, we never know. But this is actually affecting the common people. And then there's a fear among girls. I am a girl, I'm a working person, I drive by myself to my workplace, but then when I come back and then listen to these news around Delhi, and I'm staying here in Delhi, and then this actually questions as a society, that where I'm residing as in the democratic country. But then when I see the girls coming back from school, there's a fear in my mind that what is going to happen with them or with me if a female is traveling. Imagine you going home and then something is wrong with the place, and then you're not going nowhere, and then no one is going to take care of it, because the FIR again gets filed after 12 hours of the people goes missing, and then there's no real tracking. Who is responsible for this?
So you're saying that the turnaround time itself is so delayed. When a family reports, the average response time from when a family reports the case and from the time they actually act on it, because they usually say wait for a day, they'll come back.
Exactly. This is a concern. They actually need to revise this for this particular case, because this is like increasing like anything, and no one would actually feel safer. Even the young boys who are going to school, the parents might be concerned that this is happening with a girl. I mean, there are men which are
what message are we sending out? Globally, we are talking about India progressing leaps and bounds, and we talk about India being safe for foreigners and whatnot. When Indian citizens are not safe, with what moral face do we have to convince anyone else anywhere else? Right? Yes. So the global messaging that this really sends out from the national capital, Delhi, urban as it can get, You have 807 people missing in just 15 days, first 15 days of January 2026. Ms. Rekha Agarwal, give us a sense of, what this statement really speaks of. It's an absolute failure of law and order, that apart.
Nabila, I mean, of course, it is a very alarming situation. The statistics are increasing, day by day. And one of the most important fundamental rights which is guaranteed under the Constitution is the right to life, the right to liberty, and the right to lead a life of safety, a protected life. So a life is not just survival, but security is included in that. And I think that the authorities, that is the police authorities, I do have faith in the Delhi police. And since security is a state subject, it is not a center subject. So each state is responsible for its law and order situation. And one cannot generalize and say that, there is an abysmal lack of duty by the police. It would not be fair to criticize the police, in one stroke, because there could be many angles to it. It could be kidnappings, abductions, human trafficking, transplant, organ racket, immoral trafficking. It could be anything, or it could be just a coincidence that so many people are probably leaving the city, going to, kind of migrating, whatever it could be. And youngsters often just decide to go wherever they want. And with today's age, where there's so many options available to them, and what with it being the age of the internet, where communication has become very, very easy. So we very often hear of youngsters just deciding to go away, leave their family fold, and go to another city, maybe just for an adventure. So it would be very difficult for me to kind of pinpoint and place my finger on it, that where they are going, who is behind it, whether it is a racket. But I do think that if in the day and age that we are living, electronic surveillance needs to be kind of updated, brought up to the mark, because there has to be an answer. I mean, I think that all of us panelists, that I heard Mr. Rao and I heard the social work, activist also, but it would be kind of unfair, I would say, that if we just say that it is a lack of duty and that the police is not doing their job. Something is absolutely, as I said, truth is stranger than fiction, as the old adage.
Then what is the explanation here? Is the police department overwhelmed, Mr. Rao? Is the department overwhelmed? And okay, we're looking at Delhi police being handled by the central government. So ideally, we should feel more protected. Delhi should be more protected. They should have better vigilance because it's handled by the central government, not the state. And
yes,
yet these are the numbers.
Yes, Nabila, that's good. That's very correct that this Delhi police is directly under the control of Home Ministry and under the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. No doubt in that. But police is doing their job and they are efficiently doing theirs. And no doubt there may be some shortage of staff, and that this aspect of the missing person should be given more concentrated efforts by the senior officers. I think the Commissioner of Police, by all these today's so much concern about the missing persons, that police commissioner should also make some more positive efforts to augment the sources for this anti-kidnapping squad of crime branch. And no doubt the crime branch officials are doing their best, and they are most efficient officers are deployed there. In that, there is no doubt in that. But still, there is a need to be more efficient and more sincere about, because as we know, when somebody's child is missing, then we can understand when only we can imagine the situation of the parents, what is there. That is only they may only be thinking about.
We actually have another parent's reaction, sir. Let's play that out for our viewers.
I agree about that. Yes.
यहाँ से 10 तारीख को घर से सुबह 7 बजे निकला और गया यहाँ से घर से, बोला कि हॉस्पिटल जाना है मुझे थोड़ा यहाँ कौशिक, और फिर इतना ही करके बोल करके निकला। फिर वो लौट करके आया नहीं। 2-2:30 बजे तक इंतजार किया, घर में पूछे तो वो लिकीवर से नहीं, अभी तक तो नहीं आया। तो मैंने कहा खाना खाने तो आ जाना चाहिए, इतना कोई दूर तो है नहीं। फिर प्रयास करने लगे, ढूंढने लगे इधर उधर, कहीं पता नहीं चला। फिर दूसरे दिन FIR करवाए, हाँ वो थाने गए, थाने में रिपोर्ट करवाए और फिर ढूंढ ही रहे हैं जब से, अभी तक तो कोई पता ही नहीं है। 3 महीने होने को है।
पुलिस से बातचीत हुई, पुलिस आई, पुलिस ने आपकी मदद की, ढूंढने की कोशिश की?
हाँ, पुलिस बोले कि भाई हम अपना जो है कार्य कर रहे हैं, अपने हिसाब से ही करेंगे ना, हम आपको कहने से थोड़ी ऐसा करेंगे कि जो कि आप जो कहोगे वो करेंगे। ढूंढने का काम तो ठीक है, आपका दर्ज हो गया है FIR और रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक मैं अपने हिसाब से कार्य कर रहा हूँ। अब क्या किए नहीं किए वो तो वही जाने, अपने हिसाब से क्या करते हैं नहीं करते हैं। जो
मेरे हस्बैंड कई बार इधर मतलब थाने में भी कई बार गए, उन्होंने कई बार वो करा। एक ये मेरा भैया है छोटा, तो ये भी कई बार, दोनों जीजा साले काफ़ी मतलब इधर कोई लक्ष्मी सिंह है, उनके पास भी ये 5-6 बार गए, वो भी नहीं मिली ना। हमने नेताओं की सिफारिश भी लगाई, कहीं कुछ नहीं हुआ हमारा। दादी थाना में कई बार गई, खुद मैं भी गई हूँ 2-3 बार, पर ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ। बस ये दिलासा देते रहे कि जी ढूंढ तो रहे हैं तुम्हारे बच्चे को। अरे जब तुम मेरे बच्चे को ढूंढ रहे हो तो आज मुझे कुछ बताओ तो सही। आज 5वां महीना चल गया है, इसमें कुछ तो क्लू मिलता कि बच्चा कहाँ है, कैसे है। और जब हमने बताया कि 30 सितंबर को मेरा बेटा हरिद्वार में देखा गया, वीडियो भी है हमारे पास, तो पुलिस उसके थ्रू वहाँ उत्तराखंड में भी तो जाकर देख सकती थी। अगर पुलिस चाहती ना तो मेरे बच्चे को वो हरिद्वार में ही पकड़ लेती।
See, you know, one thing is consistent with all the parents here is that they say, अगर पुलिस चाहती तो कर सकती, पुलिस चाहती तो कर सकती. They have videos, they have links, they have traces, but the police is not aiding them. Ellen Rao, it's impossible for me to believe that the police can't crack this. How difficult is this? If they want to, they can put their might and ensure that they at least minimize the numbers. We can't have the same numbers from 2016 to 2026, 10 years on, and the numbers are still as worse. Despite all advanced technology, so which means there's zero commitment to finding them.
Nabila, definitely I agree with you that the commitment by the police should be on priority about these type missing people, and because I can understand the agony of the parents. Anybody can understand. Then if somebody's child is missing, then what may be in the situation, maybe the situation in the family. We can only think about it, but when they feel it, they also the police should think about those things, and they should be more sensitive.
That's what we hope. We hope that the law enforcement is more sensitive, but that clearly in the national capital, I think it's just become a case of numbers. That's it. Rekha Agarwal, a quick word from you on how this, what legal aid can any of these, you know, we are seeing most of these families who are backward.
I think that, of course, as you're right, it's very, very sad that most of the families are, where there's incidents have happened are backward areas, not financially very strong. But I think that the only recourse would be to file a habeas corpus petition in the court. I mean, for that, the legal remedy is to file a habeas corpus and ask the police to do their duty, and which literally means, produce the body, whether it is dead or alive. So I think that is one, but how many people, unfortunately, how many people do have access to lawyers? How many can really go to the court and file a writ petition in the High Court, in Delhi, and say that produce my child, and I don't care whether, where my child is, but the police should answer. But I think that we do have, free legal aid where women are concerned. And if any lady, who wants to seek legal help, she can get it free of cost. There are legal aid lawyers also, DLSA, Delhi Legal Aid Services Authority is there. And of course, as you said, that you rightly said that not many of the women would be belonging to that, strata, whether they'd be educated or whether they'd be financially capable of going to the court. It's not easy to go to the court in our country, but the only remedy is to file habeas corpus and ask the court to produce the person.
Well, Ashina, your final word on this. I have nothing to say. I can't believe these numbers are so high, and I see all of us are at a loss of words. All we can hope is for the police to act.
Yeah, this is actually very unfortunate, but yes, all we can say is the improved safety measures, it can start even from a better lighting on the streets. It can even start from the CCTV cameras. It can even start with, collaborating.
Can I say what we can start with is just basic coordination between police forces from the Railway, the railway platforms, the bus terminals, the shelters,
Absolutely.
state borders, you know, just better coordination between teams who are monitoring these areas is all we need. That's
Above all, yes. Above all, the use of technology, because AI, it's just the next level where we can use a good tracking equipments with the government tracking things, and then again collaborating with the law vigilance, law enforcers, making the social groups for the family supports of the missing people. Then again, we also have to, as a common people, as a common citizen residing in the national capital, we should also be reporting the suspicious activities to the authorities. So this is what we can do, at least support the government and then do the needful for the society.
You know, from what I see here, this is something that the police needs to address with utmost priority. Not just the police, citizens, the government, the judiciary alike should be focusing on this more than anything else at all, let alone all kinds of politics or even the SIR. I very strongly believe if life is not saved, what are we going to do with citizenship or voters' rights? When people are really missing and dying, or we don't even know what has happened to them. Imagine families are not even aware, there's no closure for them. That's the worst. The worst is that families don't have closure whether their loved ones are living or dead. Well, that's all I have here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate all of you for joining us. A quick break. We'll be right back on the other side. Veteran actor Naseeruddin Shah has been disinvited from a Mumbai University Urdu event, and he claims it could be due to political reasons. Stay with us for more.
जब विकास जी के लिवर का ऑपरेशन हुआ तो पॉलिसी बाजार की टीम ने हॉस्पिटल पहुंचकर 50 लाख रुपए का क्लेम अप्रूव करवाने में पूरी हेल्प की। पॉलिसी बाजार पर 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 550 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
Every champion's journey starts with second thoughts.
क्या हुआ?
Till they see it's possible and there is someone who truly believes in them.
एक दिन बहुत बड़ा आदमी बनना है ना?
Orchids, the international school, raising 85,000 champions across India.
Yes, we are in Philippines.
All right. Actor par excellence, Naseeruddin Shah has written a very emotional op-ed in the Indian Express, and it suggests that he was disinvited at an event that he was in fact invited and looking forward to be part of, and was disinvited last minute. He says it could be political reasons. Veteran actor Naseeruddin Shah has revealed that he was disinvited from a Mumbai University event at the last minute without any explanation from them, calling this incident very insulting and deeply disappointing. In a recent opinion piece for the Indian Express that he's written, Naseeruddin Shah wrote that he was informed late on the night of 31st of January that he is not needed for an event that he was invited to that was scheduled just the following day, Feb 1st. He said that he had been looking forward to this event because he could interact with students, given his 4-decade-long experience in association with teaching and mentoring aspiring actors. So Shah says he was really looking forward, but described this abrupt cancellation as very hurtful and unprofessional, particularly since no reason or apology was offered by the organizers. He suggested that the decision may have been linked to his outspoken criticism of the current political climate. Referring to reports that a senior university official had accused him of making statements against the country, Naseeruddin Shah strongly refuted this. In fact, he challenged anyone in the university to produce one single statement that he's made against the country. He says, show me one single statement I've made in which I have run down India insisting that his criticism has always been aimed at those in power, not at the nation itself. He says, and I quote, "I have never praised the self-proclaimed Vishwaguru. I have been critical of the way he conducts himself. His narcissism offends me and I haven't been impressed by a single thing he's done in 10 years, he writes in his op-ed. Shah adds that he has consistently voiced concerns about growing intolerance and misuse of power. The actor listed several issues that, according to him, reflect the troubling direction the way the country is moving forward, including the prolonged detention of student activists without trial, bail being granted to those convicted of serious crimes, cow vigilantism, changes to history textbooks, and political rhetoric targeting minorities." Drawing a parallel with George Orwell's 1984, Naseeruddin Shah says, basically warned of what he calls the rise of thought police and a culture where dissent is increasingly treated as sedition. He's lamented that failing to praise the leadership now risks of being branded as anti-national. He says, and I quote, "This is not the country I grew up in and was taught to love." He wrote, concluding his piece on a somber note. Naseeruddin Shah, we know, is a very acclaimed actor. He's an author. He's widely regarded as one of India's finest performers. And the number of films that he's essayed in, we have watched and adored him. Most notable ones include Nishant, Akrosh, Masoom, Iqbal, Wednesday, Dirty Picture, Ishqiya. The diverse roles that he plays, actor par excellence certainly. He's made significant contributions to parallel cinema, mainstream Bollywood theatre and international films. So a day like this where he was disinvited, he thought of writing this detailed op-ed that's now become a discussion across. Jayant Mainkar, senior journalist from Mumbai, and also Brinda Adige joining me, activist, for a little more on that. Mayank, what's your thought on this? Naseeruddin Shah, such a senior actor, and he teaches acting, he interacts. You know, it just, what he basically comes down to say in his op-ed is that just because I'm critical of the government, I was disinvited from a university. So mixing politics and education, a lot of talks around whether someone's political opinions really should matter when they're, leaving aside all the credibility and years of hard work that they've put.
No, I think he was perfect. And it's not only he. Even Prakash Raj of Karnataka. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Even Prakash Raj also facing the same problem. He has perfectly said whatever. And one has every right to call somebody. If he is calling the Vishwaguru, describing Prime Minister Narendra Modi as Vishwaguru and narcissism and whatever, he has full right. The point is this: just because someone is against the state or the central government, for that, could he be described as anti-national? Could he be described as a threat to country? I don't think so, because this is what the ground is that BJP or the state and the central government is pitching for, that you are insulting the country. What is that? When the same BJP guys, they say anything to Pandit Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Gandhi-Nehru clan, are they not insulting the prime ministers? Or, I mean, that time they are not insulting the country? Because as if that the Sangha Parivar has full right to say anything to Nehru Gandhi clan. But if someone criticizes current situation while Mr. Modi is in the third term of his country, if someone criticizes Narendra Modi, at the head of the central government, then he would be described as anti-national. And I have objection about this term called anti-national. Just because you are anti-BJP, can you be immediately termed as anti-national? Umar Khalid issue he brought perfectly, because someone who's a student activist, he is in jail without trial for 6 years. And the first people who are under heinous crime, who are facing heinous crimes and all that, their allegations, and they are elected representatives, they are getting bail. So what is this going on? I think Naseeruddin Shah has opened another topic. It's good. And it's government who has to reply.
But Jayant, it's Mumbai University, could be, a lot of it could be governed by the government as well. At the end of it, they have the right to decide. But I don't agree with the manner in which it was done. But
you see, I first said that It's the state and the central government. It is because right now the government which is at the center, the same party is at the helm of affairs even in Maharashtra. So obviously I can say, and looking at the center-oriented approach of BJP, Sangha Parivar, whatever the important decision is being taken, it has obviously the blessings of Narendra Modi, then only it has been implemented. Considering its Mumbai University's importance, and where Naseeruddin Shah is coming. So obviously, even I dare to say even Sangha Parivar and everybody are well aware what they are doing, and so he must last 24 hours before or 12 hours before he must have been informed that you are disinvited.
And then to go on to lie and say that he refused to be part of it, that's a bit
precisely.
Insulting, you know?
That, as if that we have not done anything.
At least take ownership for what you've done. Brinda Adige, you know, this dangerous trend that we're seeing on many occasions, and I don't know if it happened with past governments as well. All governments want to protect their reputation and image. It's totally understandable. But, you know, to do it in such a fashion, of course, nobody would agree. But what's your take on this? What kind of, you know, where ideally universities should be a place for free speech, debate, you know, have personalities of different backgrounds, of different opinions. But it seems like educational institutions all the more now very wary to have anyone with negative publicity, you know what I mean?
This is the saddest scenario that we, calling ourselves mother of democracies, can be facing and experiencing 79 years down the line after we have sent away the so-called colonial, those who kept us in slavery, those who kept us in oppression. Universities, like you mentioned, Nabila, are places where freedom of thought and expression must and should be encouraged. Critical thinking. You will disagree with somebody with something, but there cannot be disrespect. You don't treat that person in this kind of a indignity and undignified manner. And in the manner in which the university came out, like you mentioned, first time that he withdrew and then they said something else, shows the administration's opacity in the decisions that they might be forced to make, pressurized to make behind the scene, and not have the gumption and the guts to come out and say, hey, listen, we've been told that you can't be invited over here. And what is this program? It isn't a political rally. It is a poetry, storytelling, cultural event. If that event, we are curbing somebody and telling them that you cannot enter, can you imagine the kind of dark ages that we have entered? We may claim all kinds of development going to the dark side of moon and haven't been able to enlighten ourselves down here on earth. What is it that we are telling the generation that is going through the university, going through so-called education, that you have no right to think?
Just a quick one. Do you agree with what Naseeruddin Shah has penned in that long op-ed?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is democracy, a dissenting voice that you host, even if you do not agree with that. And the strength and the robustness of a democracy is not hosting somebody who agrees with you, but extending the same platform to someone who might be dissenting, because that is what true and strong democracy is all about.
Now, say democracy is that even the Mumbai University also has you know, agency, and they have authority to decide. So they decided the way they did it was wrong, but they decided not to disinvite him. So they did. In a democracy, either way works.
No.
Yeah.
You invited him with a lot of thought. Yeah. You didn't just invite somebody.
And why did you invite him? Looking at his stature, his work, the contribution to cinema, he's a fantastic actor.
There's a huge body of work and it is not a one or two persons. I know about these universities. We know that there are committees that are set up. The committees have many names. And from those names, there is a lot of discussion, deliberation, conversations that happen, after which you decide, okay, for this particular program, this is our agenda and this is our objective, this is what we want to impact. let's call so-and-so person. So there's a lot of thought that has gone into it. It is not just a random decision, an invitation that has been taken. In that kind of a scenario, in the last minute, disinvite. Can you think of such a word like that in English? You disinvite somebody after
and then lying about it, right? And saying he was not
interested.
And
then you lie about
and
it.
Calling him
the
previous night on the next morning he had to be there. So insult all the way, and also did not think it was, it was not hurt. They did not even think about the repercussions, right? So.
No, they are not worried about the repercussions. That is the danger. That is the chilling, scary thought that is going around being sent to us, that we are least bothered about your opinion or mine. We do exactly what we want to do to who we want to do, and nobody dare question.
Jayant, the final word, anything can be done. I mean, he's written this as he's written this. He's hurt. This is not a party or a casual event. It was an event where it was organized with students. He had to speak. He was, invited formally. So I don't know if this it can have any legal repercussion.
You see, as they are already having 2-tier or 3-tier government, with due respect to judiciary, what one can expect from judiciary is a big question mark. It is because even Mr. Naseeruddin Shah himself wrote, if Umar Khalid is not getting bail and others are getting, so there are some issues. So I don't expect any improvement. Rather, I have to sadly admit that any extreme thought which right-wing or extremists are currently ruling the country and even the state, such events are bound to continue, and such Naseeruddin Shah, such Prakash Raj, such discussions, we are bound to raise our voices, our thoughts. We are bound to raise our hands against it, with the hope that this should discontinue. Another word like that was disinvited. This should be discontinued immediately. That's the democratic way of protesting against it, and that's what we are doing.
Right. We all we hope is that free speech should prevail. Under our democracy, it allows it. Our constitution allows it. We should live to its spirit. Thanks very much, both of you, for joining us. Now, a quick look at all our stories. Let's start with all the parliamentary chaos. Fresh parliamentary chaos erupted in the Lok Sabha today as opposition MPs surrounded Prime Minister Narendra Modi's seat during the motion of thanks on the President's address. Speaker Om Birla described the incident as black spot and inappropriate for parliamentary traditions. According to Birla, he received information that opposition MPs might attempt something unexpected, quote unquote, that they could heckle Prime Minister Modi. So therefore, he says, I myself asked the Prime Minister not to come to the parliament today to make his speech. This was about yesterday that he said, well, ugly scenes had panned out in the parliament, and the speaker said, I avoided any kind of disrespect to our democratic traditions. So I requested Prime Minister not to come to the House. That's what he said. But today, Prime Minister Modi came and he spoke as well. Of course, in the Rajya Sabha, Prime Minister Modi addressed the motion of thanks amid heavy sloganeering and repeated disruptions by the opposition. Several opposition MPs staged a walkout during his speech. The Prime Minister accused the Congress of insulting the President, and a move that he said amounts to an insult to Dalits and women of the nation, and also alleged that the party insulted the Sikh community, asserting that no Indian should be labelled a traitor. On the other side, Rajya Sabha leader of the opposition Mallikarjun Kharge accused Modi government of deliberately silencing opposition voices in both houses. India has made its position clear ahead of the T20 World Cup 2026. It will play as scheduled regardless of Pakistan's boycott threat. India says it's ready to play at the Captain's Day press conference. T20 skipper Surya Kumar Yadav said that India will be in Colombo on February 15th as scheduled. He's made it clear that the boycott talk has come only from Pakistan and not India. He says our flights are also booked. The move is drawn now. Strong reaction from the International Cricket Council. ICC has warned that selective participation goes against the spirit of the global tournament and damages sporting integrity. The PCB may invoke the force majeure clause, citing a February 1st government social media post directing it to avoid playing India, arguing that the situation was beyond its control. However, past boycotts in ICC events do not apply as precedent. Pakistani media reports suggest another line of defense, reviving the PCB's long-standing dispute with the BCCI over the unfulfilled 2014 bilateral MOU and the related ICC proceedings. In fact, the controversy comes amid a recent precedent. Bangladesh was dropped from the tournament after refusing to play in India and was replaced by Scotland, a decision accepted by the ICC. On the field, Pakistan's record offers little comfort. India lead 7-1 in T20 World Cup meetings and have dominated recent contests. With the World Cup approaching, the battle only now to see on the field, if at all Pakistan plays India. A massive traffic nightmare unfolded on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway after a tanker carrying highly inflammable propylene gas overturned near the Adoshi tunnel in the Kandala Ghat section. Accident, which occurred on Tuesday evening, triggered one of the longest gridlocks in the 94.5-kilometer expressway history that ever they've seen. Thousands of commuters stranded for more than 31 hours. Drone visuals show the full scale of the chaos. Vehicles packed bumper to bumper across all three lanes, with traffic stretching over 20 kilometers in some stretches. Motorists were stuck overnight, we hear, without access to food, drinking water or toilets. Public transport was badly hit, with several state transport bus services cancelled and essential supplies delayed. In fact, police shut down Mumbai-bound traffic immediately and diverted vehicles towards Pune, but a continuous gas leak from the tanker made it impossible for them to restore normal movement. If you can show those drone visuals there, the situation improved only after authorities safely transferred the gas and removed the overturned tanker around 1:30 a.m. on Thursday. Imagine 31 hours of torture that these vehicles had to have. Traffic resumed shortly after, though movement remained very slow for several hours due to congestion. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis has ordered an inquiry into the incident and asked for a detailed report with recommendations to prevent such emergencies. Meanwhile, the crisis has sparked political outrage. Shiv Sena UBT leader Aditya Thackeray has questioned the government over the lack of basic facilities for stranded commuters. With less than 2 weeks to go for the Class 10 CBSE board examinations starting February 17th, students across the Tri-City are in final phase of preparation. But this year comes with a major change. For the first time, Class 10 students are appearing under CBSE's two-phase board examination system. While the February exam is mandatory, students will have the option of taking a second attempt in May to improve their scores. The final mark sheet will reflect the best performance across both attempts, with students allowed to reappear in up to 3 subjects. The move has drawn mixed reactions. Many parents see it as a relief that reduces pressure. They say that second attempt offers emotional reassurance, but stresses that students must treat February exams with full seriousness. Some school authorities, however, feel that the new system stretches the academic calendar and overlaps with the start of Class 11 assessments. Students themselves are divided on this. While some plan to skip the May attempt due to Class 11 tests, others welcome the change, saying that it provides a fair backup in case of illness or personal emergencies. Now, countdown to the boards begins. The new system is offering both flexibility and fresh challenges, leaving students a little confused, maybe a little happy as well. Now, the Washington Post. The Washington Post has carried out one of the largest layoffs in its 150-year history, cutting off nearly 1/3 of its workforce. More than 300 journalists out of a newsroom of about 800 have lost their jobs, sending shockwaves across the global media industry. Among those who were laid off was Ishan Tharoor, senior international affairs columnist, son of Congress MP Shashi Tharoor. Ishan confirmed this news on his social media platform, sharing a photo from the newsroom with the slogan, "Democracy dies in darkness." He captioned that, "Simply a bad day." Reactions sharply pouring in. Reacting was Shashi Tharoor, who called this decision as bizarre business move, calling the shutdown a perverse act of self-ebullition. The layoffs have gutted major sections of that newspaper. The sports desk has been shut, books coverage ended, and several international bureaus closed. Local reporting teams and parts of the business division has been shut. Now, those laid off include the Asia Director Bureau Chiefs in New Delhi, Sydney and Cairo, the entire Middle East team, and correspondents covering China, Iran and Turkey. Many have called this a dark day for global journalism. The Post's New Delhi Bureau Chief, Pranshu Verma, confirmed his layoff, saying that he was heartbroken for his colleagues as well. Now, explaining the decision, executive editor Matt Murray said the cuts were unavoidable and part of a broader operating overhaul. The layoffs have also reignited debate over Paper's ownership. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, who bought the Post in 2013 for $250 million, has not commented as yet. Tensions rose after the Post declined to endorse a candidate in the 2024 US elections, triggering over 200,000 subscription cancellations. So some journalists point to Bezos resetting ties with Donald Trump, who praised him in March 2025. The cuts come amid a long financial slide. In 2023, Washington Post reported losses of about $100 million, offered buyouts and promised to protect newsroom jobs, a promise that's now been broken. Well, that's it for me here. Thanks very much for tuning in.
When Trump captures Maduro, News 9 breaks it first.
It's happening far away, but it has tremendous consequence for the world. What happens next?
Biggest international headline of the hour.
The US has conducted military strikes.
This is the Venezuelan president.
Maduro faces multiple charges, including narco-terrorism.
This is Maduro being taken to the New York court.
Donald Trump indicated that Greenland